All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about the settings that we're going to be using today in Warzone after the update for Season 4. What are the best settings you can use to maximize your performance while you're playing the game? For me, what I used to play with is a Crosshair Iron Claw. I found that mouse pretty comfortable because I have really big hands, so I use this mouse, and we use a really big mouse pad, and I keep my sensitivity around 8. I usually turn it down to 6, 7, depending on how sweaty I am going to be or how intense the game. For the advanced, for the vertical sensitivity and all that stuff is going to be staying consistent. For aiming down sight, I use Legacy and I keep that for low zoom. I use about 50, 60%. And for the other high zoom, I use it, keep it around 70%. That's what I figured out the best settings for me. And for mouse acceleration, filtering, and mouse smoothing, all of that disabled so you can have the smoothest accuracy for yourself and don't have anything interrupting with while you're playing or any adjustment for the computer to have to do for you. For movement, I use toggle for everything, as you can see here. And however, for crouch, I use C. For prone, I use control. Sometimes the left control button. I tried to use Z, but I've been training on it, but it's getting a little bit tough. Like your pinky will start to get tired a little bit, but it's really nice to get used to it. I've been trying, but I need to try a little bit more. For the weapons and equipment, depleted ammo weapon switch, I usually turn it off. Why? Because sometimes we're in a fight when you're attacking someone. Sometimes your gun will run out of ammo and it'll switch it right away. And your instinct right away will switch is, oh no, switch back to that other weapon. No, you need to switch it by yourself manually. It's much better to get used to it. Um, for other than that, I keep also my settings are default. For code streaks and all of that is mostly default. For field of view, I need to talk about this because this is something really important most people would not know. So, for field of view, if you look here with me on the screen right here, the more field of view you have, the smaller the targets will appear. So for me, I usually keep it at 100 or 95, depending on the game, on how much graphics it's handling or how much graphics that it actually needs. Like for example, in Apex Legends, I use around 95, 890. And sometimes if I'm playing on a better monitor or if I got a new monitor like the one that I have right now, I play on 120. For advanced, for field of view, it's all independent. I keep it the same. Um, for this one thing right here for map, I like to keep it square because you can see more of what you looking for in a game. You can see more people. The circle one is actually much smaller than usual. For graphics, I try to minimize as much as possible so I can get the maximum amount of FPS while I'm in the game. I am using a 20 or RTX 2060. It's not the best graphic card out there, but it still handled what I want to do, which is stream, record myself, and still play the video game at the same time. I use most of my settings are low, so I can get more FPS. I can reach about 100 FPS in every game if I'm overclocking it, which is another video I'm gonna explain a lot more next time. I'm playing in 1920 1080p. The aspect ratio is disabled. VSync is disabled. Most of my stuff, as you can see here, are disabled. Um, they're all on low. Texture resolution, I try to keep it on normal so I can have a little bit texture scene just in case if I'm doing an Easter egg or any of that. As you guys see here, most of my settings are on low. One thing, the anti-aliasing. I keep this on so I can see the edges of most things here. And it helps me out to figure out what I'm looking at exactly. If I'm looking at that person or I'm looking at the edge, because if you tell over here, edges are kind of a little bit mixed. So I try to have the anti-aliasing on. Another thing here is the depth of field. So you don't want anything to be blurring out your view right here. So you need to process everything at the same time so you can shoot your enemy and not think it's a blur, it's not there. And sometimes the eye will ignore it. Another thing here is the filmic strength, which is add blurs to your when you're aiming down sight. You don't want that to happen. You need to be processing everything at the same time and seeing everything with you. Another thing here is world motion blur. So sometimes when you move your weapon in a quick movement, you'll see that blur alert here, but when you turn it off, you still see everything while you're moving and no blur will be added to your screen. As you guys see here, everything is disabled so far. If we go to audio, I use boost. I keep it on boost. The reason I keep it on boost high over here, because I like to hear the footsteps of people. That's the main reason, even though Warzone is very loud game and there's a lot going on, you know, the choppers, the RPJs and all that stuff, but there's some footsteps we can hear, even though there's some audio issues still there happening in the game, but we still can work it out and figure it out a best solution for it. And I figured out the best solution for me came out, keep the boost high, and I usually keep the master volume a little bit low, and I keep the chat high. Keep it on open mic here because I usually play with people that I know, unless I'm playing with randoms. That's about it. That's about it for customizing. Try to get the maximum FPS in Warzone here. Warzone is a fairly simple game, you know. There's not much of needed to be taught in it or to be done. If you play the game right, get the best positioning in it, you will be succeeding in it. All you have to do is just figure out the best settings for yourself and figure out the best sensitivity for yourself as well, and having more FPS coming. Even though I would not recognize anything above 60 FPS, but it's always better to have more, so you can catch it quicker. Your refresh rate, you know, frames per second, it will be a little bit quicker, you know. And that's about it, fellas, for this. Thank you for stopping by and appreciate everybody coming by here. I stream every day on Facebook at night, usually from 8 till 12 or from 9 to 12, it depending on how my day go to work and how my studies go. And I will get another video if you guys would like it, and I'll put the YouTube, my Facebook channel link down below if you guys would like to stop by. Comment, let me know what you guys think about this video. I would appreciate it. And if you guys want me to show you guys my settings when I stream and play on my PC, and I will put the specs and I will explain every single thing that I've done to maximize my settings and still not have any lags. Appreciate everybody stopping by. This is Kaboom, and you guys have a great one.